This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
Time to get your NFL fix every week. Here on SENZ, we cover the NFL, and it was a pretty wild old weekend. I don't know if you caught much of the action this weekend, but whew, what about the Chiefs?
The Chiefs found a way, didn't they? Little charge down on a punt gives them the dub. An easy punt too, right in front. And the Cowboys just continue to show that they stink. And the New York Jets continue to show that they stink. But my Panthers, they got a win. And a win's a win. So you're watching little bits of it throughout this. Joe Burrow's taking on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. They found a way, crept up and got the job done. But, if you think about it, it's been pretty underwhelming. You look at the Chiefs.
Yeah.
They're 9-0, but it hasn't been as convincing as it has been in the past. They've won 15 games straight. They are 9-0. They've won 15 straight, so they're on a bit of a tear at the moment. But, yeah, I think they're not doing as convincing as they have in the past.
Well, the Detroit Lions, too, that's a hell of a story for me. So the Buffalo Bills, 8-2. The Bills, when you look at the Chiefs, 9-0. The Steelers, 7-2.
Detroit Lions.
Yeah, how good are the Lions going?
5 picks, Jared Goff, and they found a way.
Right.
Dan Campbell's building a pretty bit of a champion mindset there.
Well, I think he's only the third quarterback to ever do that, have 5 intercepts in a game and still win a game. That is quite incredible. I think Tony Romo and Matt Ryan were the only other 2 quarterbacks. Joining us on the phone now is Ed Easton Jr. He's an NFL writer for the Chiefs Wire and USA Today. Ed, very good morning to you from New Zealand.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, guys. How's it going?
Yeah, we're good, thank you. Let's talk about the Chiefs first up. 9-0. Are people starting to turn heads? Are people starting to give up and say, just give it to them now?
You know what? I don't think people are going to be saying that. You look at the play on the field, the team, they're getting everyone's best shot. You see most of the games have been a couple of points. It could have gone either way. Obviously, this past Sunday's game, about as close as it gets. So they've made some things happen, and obviously the 9-0 record, it looks great, but they know there are some places that they have to improve because it could have easily gone the other way.
Can you talk about the Lions? What is going so right in Detroit right now, Ed?
You know what? It's just the culture. It starts with Dan Campbell and what he has that team believing. It doesn't matter where you are, whether you're on special teams, offense, or defense. They feel like they're in every game. They're playing with such confidence. I don't think there's a team in the league that goes on 4th down as often as they do.
Yeah.
You look at just the mindset of Jared Goff, 5 interceptions, and then yet they're still in the game, and they still have the confidence to go out there and win. And these are just they're playing great teams. It's not like they're just beating these lower-level teams. They're beating very good teams. Amon St. Brown, just another great player in terms of him developing. They lost Aiden Hutchinson, and yet they're still one of the better defensive units in the league. Aaron Glenn doing a great job with that defense. There's just an all-around team that has the confidence, and you saw it a bit last year. If it wasn't for that second half, you could have been talking about them in the Super Bowl.
Watch that Netflix series, Receivers, Amon St. Brown. He's such a good watch and an interesting character. And you saw the smile on Dan Campbell's face post that match. He just couldn't believe that they were able to get the job done. But talk about the big teams in the league. You got the New York Jets. They stink. And then Jerry Jones and the Cowboys with Dak Prescott. They even are worse, mate. Horrible season for those 2 outfits.
Yeah. I mean, there's no other way to look at it. Just starting with the Jets, so much high expectations. You're talking about the whole situation with Aaron Rodgers. You do everything you can to make him happy. Then obviously last year he goes down after about 3 plays, comes back this year. High optimism. They say him and the head coach are good. Then about a couple of games in, Robert Saleh is fired. And you're then looking at, okay, well, maybe we need another wide receiver. So they bring in Devontae Adams, who is about as close as it gets to Aaron Rodgers, and it just still hasn't worked out. So it's kind of a black cloud over the Jets right now in terms of what this team is trying to be, what they actually are. So it's just a lot of confusion there. And if you look at the Cowboys side, and as you say with Jerry Jones, and he puts these teams together, every year they have this expectation or this delusion that they are a Super Bowl caliber team. And they give the big contract to Dak Prescott, and don't get me wrong, Dak Prescott is a great quarterback. You also got CeeDee Lamb, one of the better wide receivers in the league. But then you got to look at the rest of the team. This isn't the same offensive line that was dominant for so many years. There really hasn't been much of a running game. They brought back Ezekiel Elliott, and he's not the same Ezekiel Elliott that we all remember from his heyday with the Cowboys. And that defense, it just hasn't done the job all season. You don't see as many stops. Micah Parsons going down with the injury early in the year had really pretty much threw a wrench into their plans. And now you have Dak Prescott out. It's just a whole avalanche of issues that they're dealing with. Cooper Rush is you saw what Cooper Rush was this past Sunday. So it's kind of tough to really put in perspective for what this team could be. You kind of expect some movement to happen in the coaching ranks. Mike McCarthy's been there for a while. It's not a good time if you're a Cowboys fan.
Hey, Ed, I want to just touch too on the Buffalo Bills. They just look so good, and their defense up against the Colts in their game of the weekend was astonishing for me. I think, 4 sacks, 3 picks. Flacco had a terrible day out against that defense. Are the Bills doing this on defense because they're also scoring points? So is this just an all-round Buffalo team?
Oh, yeah, this is definitely an all-around Buffalo team, and a bit of a surprise considering what they had lost in the offseason, losing Stephon Diggs. But a lot of people thought, okay, maybe this might be sort of a setback year for Josh Allen, and it honestly just lit a fire under that offense. They found different guys that can make plays. The defense does continue to stand out because of just what they've done to a lot of the best offenses in the league. Now, I'm not going to put the Colts in that conversation in terms of best offenses, but they have shown that they can stop some of the best. And I think the biggest thing, it just comes down to turnovers. Can they capitalize off turnovers? Can they make the little plays? And they're one of those sneaky teams. And I don't want to try to downplay a lot of what they've done because they do play the Chiefs this upcoming Sunday, and that's always a great matchup, and they go back and forth every year. But they are in a division, the AFC East, which is probably, I don't want to say the worst division in the league, but a division that's having its issues. So they're going to feed off of those teams that are at the bottom. That includes the New York Jets, like we mentioned. So you kind of, this week, I feel like against the Chiefs is really going to determine what type of team they have and if they are for real in regards to making a postseason run.
Yeah, you're right about the AFC East. I think the Dolphins are at 333, the Jets 300, and the Patriots 300, and the Bills at 800 at the moment in terms of percentage. So it's a bit of a lopsided affair in that conference. What about games coming up this week? What is the biggest one for you, Ed?
Oh, it's definitely going to start with that Kansas City-Buffalo game. I just feel like when you look at both of those teams, and every year it's a great matchup. They always talk about how Josh Allen found ways to beat Kansas City in Kansas City. Obviously, this game will be in Buffalo, but the biggest issue they've always had, they can never beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. They lose every single time they match up. We can go back a couple years to the 13 seconds and tying the game and going to overtime and Chiefs winning that game. Both of these teams know each other so well. The quarterbacks know each other so well. The defenses, it's always fun. I don't think there's ever been a game where you say it was like lopsided where one team just ran away with it. I expect it to be close again. Once again, it's in Buffalo, so the elements are always going to play a factor around this time of year. It's just always that type of thing to look forward to. But the other game that I do look forward to as well is the Eagles and Commanders. You're talking about two teams that battling right now at the top of that division. What do which side do you really go? Do you go with the young quarterback, or do you go with the team that has the quarterback that has been to a Super Bowl, that was an MVP candidate? There's so many different options you can go with. And the Eagles, you also have to give a shout out to Saquon Barkley and what he's done in this first season. He's already looks like he's worth every bit of the contract that the Giants didn't want to pay for. So it's things like that are great storylines heading into this weekend.
It's typical New York, isn't it? The Jets stink with Aaron Rodgers and the Giants pick the wrong guys. I mean, it's a real New York football story going on in the NFL at the moment. Yes, Iz.
Ask him about the Bears.
I'm not going to ask Ed about the Bears.
And Caleb Williams.
I'm not going to
hiding, and then they are panicking.
I'm not going to ask about the Bears.
Assistant coach from the Patriots who only just arrived there in the off season in Waldron. Can you explain to us about the Bears?
No,
they had so much promise at the start of the season.
I think we're out of time, Ed. I think we're out of time for the Bears here. I mean, come on. They started so well. They looked so good in the preseason, and now it's just another season of Chicago shambles here.
You know what? I want to show some optimism. You do see some good things with the Bears. If you really want to put it in perspective, if the defensive back was paying attention at the end of that Hail Mary, that's probably a win for them. So different things like that. I just feel like they're still a young team. Let's look at the positives. It's a young team. Caleb Williams is still a young quarterback. He's a rookie. There's building there, and I look at it that way. But are they a contender this year? I don't think so. But they are building something for the future, so that's optimism.
All right. Well, I love the sports. I love the Sports Illustrated headline. The C in Chicago stands for catastrophe. Ed Easton Jr, NFL writer for the Chiefs in USA Today, talking about the latest in the NFL. Ed, what a great chat, man! Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Ed.
Hey, guys, it's a pleasure. Thank you.